Call the special regular council meeting to Wednesday, December the 11th to order. There is an agenda in front of you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? I've got Councilors Randhawa and Adie. It's a single item, and that is the fourth and final reading of the bylaw. If there are any members of the public that are wondering, this is likely to be a very short meeting because this has been well debated, and there's been the first, second, third reading and the build up to this, and this is now this one bylaw got isolated because we had asked staff to make a number of changes. Those changes were made, but it took it out of sequence with the other bylaws that have already been passed around utilities. So we have approved agenda. There's no member of the public to comment. We are into the one item on the agenda, which is the City of Prince Rupert Sanitary and Storm Sewer Utility Management Bylaw number 3548. Recommendation is that Council give fourth and final reading to the City of Prince Rupert Sanitary and Storm Sewer Utility Management Bylaw number 3548. Can I have a motion to that effect? Councillor Cunningham and Councillor Randhawa. Any discussion? Councillor Cunningham.
One thing I just noticed.
Microphone, please.
Turning on.
Have I got you blocked?
Right. Oh, well, okay. Now I know where I stand. One thing I noticed is businesses under 10 employees are actually lower in billing for sewage rates than a residential.
Dr. Buckin.
No, Your Worship, if I can defer that to Director Bonman or Deputy City
Who's
Manager
going to
Pucci?
Director Pucci or DCM Pucci?
I'm going to get whiplash here.
I believe that's a flat rate, and the reasoning behind that is that the typical houses are using more water and the rate. So I think that the flat rate is for businesses under 10. There'll be smaller businesses that don't have a lot of water usage. Oh, and
These
then
are
there's,
sewage rates.
oh, sorry, yes, sewage rates, but the sewage rates are related to water usage as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how it's calculated. Sorry.
Because one thing I keep hearing is there's only two of us in a house.
Yeah.
And how come we're paying the same rate or less
Yeah.
than somebody that's got 5 or 6 or,
Yeah.
things like this when there's only one pipe connecting everything. So it's one thing that keeps coming up in conversation.
Yeah, and I think I get where people get to that because they see themselves as purchasing water or buying a sewer service or whatever those things are, and constantly reminding people and I understand the disconnect because we tend to think like consumers in everything we do, but the reality is we all together jointly own a water system, the entire system from the dam to the treatment, to the pipes, to get it to your front door. The water itself actually flows for free. We don't meter water in people's homes. The water itself, what you're paying for is your share of that entire system. And so whether you are flushing the toilet once a day or twice a day or 7 times a day, you're breaking up your fair share as a residential user of that entire system. Dr. Buchan.
Your Worship, and just a couple other points to that. These numbers are based on average water usage by use, residential, for example, versus commercial.
Yeah.
So it's if somebody has just 2 people in the house, yes, they'd use less water, perhaps than somebody with 4 people in the house. But we look at what the average is, not the number of occupants in a house. And the difference, one of the big differences between commercial and residential, I believe, is that typically, again, this is on average, typically commercial occupations are not don't have baths or showers, and that's where a lot of the volume goes versus toilets.
Right. Councillor Cunningham.
Use the word commercial. They could be using the water for commercial use. And we're not talking water here, we're talking sewage.
Right.
We've already passed the water line.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is that, if you want to spread this equally among everyone, but you've got a business with less than 10 people, they're paying less than a residential house. So if it's equal, there's a problem here because they're paying less than I would be, or Nick or Gurvinder would be paying for the same service that is equally distributed, as you just said, throughout the whole system. So, it's just something I noticed in this.
Okay. DCM Pucci.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So these rates are calculated based on metered. So these are metered. When we say metered, it means water metered. So we know how much water is going in, and then there's a calculation of how much waste is coming out from that. So that's why we refer to the waste going out under this bylaw as metered rates, because it says here fixed rate approved sewer users with metered water. So we would have metered water. So then also, if it is a different type of business, a classification that say is bottling water, for instance, that would be a business that would be doing that. They would be on metered water, which would then you would pay for that water usage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great observation on your part, Counselor. It tells me you read it pretty darn carefully. All right. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. There being no other items of business, I would entertain, unless there's a comment from council, entertain a motion to adjourn. Councillor Cunningham, Councillor Adey, all in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Meeting is adjourned.